For 3 millennia, the Zephrian hegemony had dominated space. Their vessels were exquisite pieces of crystal and, like living art, the light flowed through the stars. Admiral Sexthera was standing on his flagship's bridge, which was named. On his displays, he observed stellar dawn and the blue planet's expansion. His team walked around him with the elegant grace that resulted from years of flawless breeding. They had never been defeated in combat, because no one strong enough to adequately battle them had ever been found. This bright star's third planet system appeared to be sufficiently tranquil. White clouds revealed green continents, while a lone, massive moon hung close by, similar to a guardian. The inhabitants referred to themselves as humans, and according to their technological reports, they were nothing noteworthy. They had only recently discovered how to outpace the speed of light, and, in contrast to Zephrian ships, theirs appeared rudimentary and unsightly. Above all, they appeared to be fighters by nature, which implied that they would most likely oppose a peaceful surrender. It was precisely this that the hegemony desired. Admiral Sexthera had had enough of creatures that surrendered without a struggle. Conquest became tedious as a result, and his crews required practice. These people would amuse themselves before they became one of the numerous civilizations that had been assimilated by the hegemony. According to the story, they battled each other continuously and have swarmed their planet, indicating that they might possibly some opposition prior to embracing their destiny. Captain Jake Morrison crossed the UES Leviathan's bridge and experienced the well-known burden of authority resting on his shoulders. The enormous human battleship was over 2,000 long, carrying enough weaponry to shatter a moon from bow to stern. All surfaces. Armed with armor plate and weapons, they could fend off nearly everything the galaxy could throw at them. Morrison had spent 20 years in the Earth Defense Force and contributed to the design of this ship, which represents humanity's response to any attacks. Maybe from the stars. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez observed the oncoming alien fleet while seated at her sensor post with increasing concern. The enemy ships' flowing shapes and crystalline made them appear insignificant in human databases. Hulls that appeared to bend light in their direction. They left no energy behind and traveled across space without any discernible engines. Signatures detectable by human sensors. Their number was more concerning. She tallied 37 ships of different sizes, all clearly hostile and moving straight toward Earth. "Captain, there will be an arrival." Multiple frequency broadcasts, Rodriguez said as she adjusted her communications apparatus. "They're calling for the imminent ceding of all human lands and subjection to the Zephrian hegemony. They claim that if we oppose, our civilization will be totally destroyed." Morrison researched I observed the exquisite design of the alien ships through the main view screen. They appeared to be more artistic creations than military ships, while the outlying colonies' intelligence reports painted a different picture. These stunning vessels had transformed entire worlds into glass fields, and no race they came across had ever been able to successfully oppose them. The captain was aware that the events of the following few hours could determine whether humanity survives. Provide a reply. Morrison settled himself into his command chair and gave the order on all frequencies. Inform them that people don't give yourself up to anyone. And they must pass through us first if they wish to reach Earth. Ensure they comprehend that we are ready to engage in combat. Reaching the Zephrian fleet within, the message sped through space at the speed of light. Seconds. Through his cerebral interface, Admiral Sexthera experienced a human response and understood what his species seen as entertainment. In fact, these archaic creatures think that their one rudimentary vessel could withstand the strength of a whole hegemony. Fleet of battle. He had witnessed such disobedience formerly from younger species that were still figuring out their role in the galaxy. It didn't endure long after the shooting began. Kexthera ordered his team to get their weapons systems ready and launch the attack. The target. Their command systems and engines first. We want slaves to learn and prisoners to labor in our mining settlements. Try not to harm them too much, but if they do become damaged, don't be afraid to destroy them. Keep resisting. Together with the larger ships, the Zephrian ships formed their customary attack configuration, positioning themselves in the middle as lesser vessels advanced to the human battleship's sides. Their armaments roared with targeting systems locked onto the Leviathan from several perspectives, creating a sound like a singing crystal. The aliens had effectively employed this similar strategy on hundreds of other species and anticipated the same outcome. In this place, as the opposing fleet deployed, Captain Morrison saw the iconic. They were trying to do an envelopment maneuver. He had spent years studying alien tactical theory at the Academy and was aware that the majority of spacefaring species favored sophisticated solutions that reduced the number of victims on all sides. They appear to consider combat to be a type of art in which superior tactical expertise and technology should result in a swift win with little damage. This implied that they had never before engaged in combat with humans. Morrison spoke over the ship's radio, "All hands to battle stations. System. There's no drill here. We are going to confront hostile extraterrestrial forces in protection of the planet and all people. The brightest hope for humanity is represented by each man and woman on this ship. Survival. Don't fail our species." All through the enormous battleship sirens. As crew members hurried to their battle positions, they sobbed. Critical areas were sealed off by blast doors while armor plating changed into combat position. The 3 fusion reactors on board the ship grew power production as the hum of charging capacitors brought armament systems online. Ammunition was loaded by gun crews into railgun batteries while their lethal cargo was loaded into missile tubes. It was the Leviathan changing from a ship into an extremely devastating weapon. Admiral Kexthera observed this development via his sensors and sensed his initial moment of doubt. Zephrian saw changes in the human vessel. Technology was unable to comprehend. As new equipment went online, energy monitoring revealed significant power increases that their initial scans had failed to identify. These people might not have been as archaic as their intelligence reports had indicated. His weapons officer reported, "Sir, we're identifying odd energy signatures coming from the human spacecraft. They seem to have significantly more advanced defensive systems than at first we thought."